You share your heart with another.
A king's gotta know his kingdom.
So, now that we have, narrowly escaped, one narrow...
Getting blasted in the face by a magically enhanced bullshit superweapon.
Yeah, so, now we get to wake up in front of another one.
We're back.
Now for something nominally different.
What about Wiseman?
Millie, please pay attention.
Make the mental leap. We're back in Diadem.
Thank you, Gilo.
Where's Selsica? Oh no! King Latakan and Gabari!
What are you planning to do? That thing is too powerful.
Ah, come on, I think the kids can take it.
Well, we have to help!
I mean, they might as well.
I mean, they do about as well as we're going to do against it. So yeah, unsurprisingly, this is going to be another one of those unwinnable fights that you just have to last long enough against.
One of those. It definitely has that vibe, straight from the outset. Good start.
Yep. Excellent opportunity to demonstrate that just because you can do a party-wide relay chain, maybe consider you shouldn't sometimes.
There's a time and a place for everything, and this doesn't really seem like the time and the place for anything. Is it literally just survive some turns, or is there one of those things where it's like, hey, you've got to do some damage, and it is an enemy, technically, with a health bar, technically.
You know, I never actually bothered to figure out which of them it is. I'm sure it's do X amount of damage, where X is like 200 or something.
Yeah, the numbers that we're making come out of it don't seem to be quite up to our usual standard.
But yeah, so he has exactly two things that he does, which is Plasma Cannon, which does about 700 damage to everybody and knocks you down, and he does a regular attack, which does about 700 damage to one person. And that's it, that's the fight.
Yeah, I'm detecting a theme of, fuck you. Yeah, that went about as well as could be hoped.
It's no good. We can't win.
Soggy, over here!
Now, don't worry, he knows exactly how many super tanks there are in the room. He's got this.
Great! Keep it up! Hit that little punk with all you've got!
I mean, I will admit, this is actually a fairly clever plan.
What's going on?
Everybody, retreat!
It makes, well, I was gonna say it makes more sense than the last one of his plans, but, that's not really saying much, is it?
We're also going to conveniently ignore the part where we ran through the headwind that we directed into there. Don't worry about it. We got away. That's all you need to know.
But Pop...
When will we learn not to scrutinize the
Uncle Ram,
details in a
It's
JRPG?
because of you that I'm standing here right now. Thank you.
Such kind words are wasted on me. Any knight would be honored to act as his king's shield.
I'm sorry. I'll try harder, Uncle Ram. I'll learn to be as strong as you.
Pop... Pop...
Don't cry, Gibari. Diadem's clouds grow dark when its nights shed tears.
Good God, even on his literal dying breath, he's telling us bullshit local talk. bullshit local stories.
Of great wars. There's a saying.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, man.
Pop! Don't die! Pop!
Gibari,
Like, is he just making these up?
it's your turn to be your king's
I mean-
shield.
It's not like there wouldn't be precedent for that in this sort of game. See also Lord Lloyd and the Dwarven Vows.
Myths. Right until the end.
But like, I don't know. I feel like there's a difference between saying like, here's my personal philosophy that guides me, and like, here's how I think that people broadly should behave in a way that would be nice, and saying like, hey, did you know that if you do this thing, then this incredibly bad thing is definitely going to happen, and that's why
You
you
don't
shouldn't
have to
do
say
this thing.
Then let's hurry and assemble the knights. We have to avenge Celsica and Pop.
It's all right.
Huh?
The knights will be assembled to take back the cloud vents. And Celsica and Uncle Ram will be avenged. I promise you that. But Gib, I don't need you to do it.
What are you talking about, Khan?
I don't have to give a reason. I order you as your king. Gibari, give up knighthood and return to Nashira.
Khan!
I'm speaking to you as your king. This is an order, Gibari.
That's right, your dad is dead, and you understandably
What the
want
hell?
revenge. But
I
have
don't
you considered
understand.
that also you're
Come.
fired?
I also order you to not like
As you
disregard
wish,
all
sire.
this
If that is his
and go and do it on your own.
You can go. Take care of Nashira.
You say, fortunately, as we know, Gibari is not the brightest boy, so he is absolutely going to take this at face value and go be a fisherman for the next 20 years.
I feel like there'd be a lot more tension hanging on that if we didn't, like, you know that he's still gonna be around
Khan!
much later.
Friends forever!
I don't know. The scaffolding at the moment is in place and holds up. The writers have done a nominal job here.
Diadem will join the fight against Baelheit. Pass that message to Quaestor Varus.
Yes, Your Majesty. I'll be sure to tell him.
Thank you.
Are you sure you want to leave things that way with Gibari?
I can't lose Gib. If my life were put at risk again, I know he would do the same thing as Uncle Ram. But Gib's too special to me. I can't bear to lose him. I guess I'm a poor king saying things like that. If Uncle Ram were alive, he'd tell me off royally, so to speak.
Of course not. Nobody wants to lose the ones they care about. He'd understand.
You're very kind.
King Laticon, we should probably be going soon. Once I get back to Alfard, I'll work with the Quaestor on our strategy going forward.
Hang on, Sagi, we have a strategy?
Then
Right.
I'll be praying for your success.
Yeah. There's a plan? But yeah, that's the thing about JRPGs, is that it's never ever really been about the minor details. People play these things and remember them forever just because of the vibes. That's the dirty secret. You nail the vibes and nobody cares that the plot doesn't actually make much sense. Also,
So yeah, we could leave at this point. However, if we come all the way back to this point, we can get a special Magnus. And Sagi mysteriously knows where we're going to go with that, but don't worry about that. That's another one of those details things that we can ignore. The more important thing is that if you wander too close to the tank,
Why did you come
you
back?
can, in fact, go fight it
I
again.
have to kill you now.
And it will kill you, and you will get a game over for real this time.
How should I know? But we'll have bigger problems if we don't try.
Good times.
Having second thoughts? Just give it up.
Now, Nazca, let's get this perfectly straight. These are first thoughts. This is the first thought that he's ever had.
It's me. What's the situation there?
Situation's fucked, sir.
But unfortunately, we couldn't halt Pro-Machination here. We weren't able to stop the Umbra that appeared either, sir. It was taken down by a Machina Arma, like before.
An afterling? So there was one in Diadem.
Afterling?
Nothing, never mind. I'm just rambling. Good work on your mission. I'll hear the details upon your return.
Yes, sir.
Remember, don't think about this.
I mean, to be fair, we did do the thing that he explicitly told us to do, which was to get Diadem support against Baelheit. Now, all of the other minor details that paint our success in a much darker light is, don't worry about those. We did the top level thing that he wanted.
We got this one thing right. And that's why we should not be fired. How the fuck should we even know?
I mean, she turned into a giant monster, so... yeah, peaceful. Definitely.
We are definitely qualified to discuss this.
So yeah, this guy had a crush on Celsica. That's it. That's his entire deal.
Yeah, can't help caring about people sometimes. Turns out it doesn't actually matter if you had a good reason to or not. We think it don't be how it is, but it do. Oh, I see. Did we sequence break this?
Yes, because the alternative would be that now we would have to turn around and go all the way back to the cloud vents, get the crest, and then come back and talk to this guy. And it's like, we were already in the throne room, I'm just gonna go get it now.
I mean, I guess the even worse alternative is that they would have actually have to write, like, 2 entire additional lines of dialogue to account for going there first without coming here. And that would simply not be tolerable.
Great, well, thanks, good luck with that, friend. We're gonna go back to the Empire now. See ya, nerd.
You gotta love how, like, sometimes the writers just throw their hands up and they're like, yeah, this guy knows that you're the protagonist. And that's pretty much all the justification you're getting. Why would anyone care? Why does anyone care? They just know. They had an unaccountable intuition.
So hey, remember that mirror that we stole from King Lotacon?
Honestly, no, but I mean, now you bring it up.
How could you forget such an integral part of that dungeon?
I mean, repression?
Fair. But anyway, you foolishly might think that we should give that back to the king. But no, we have to give it back to Gibari.
I mean, now he has a pretext. That's what's important here. Yeah, no, situation is bad here, but don't worry, we did the one thing. Everything else is thoroughly fucked, but no. We did it. Mission complete.
In fact, it's so complete that we're just gonna peace out now, we're gonna go home, and we're gonna go to some completely other part of the world instead. I'm sure you guys have got this.
Our work here is done. Alright, which corner of the world are we gonna totally nail next?
So then they're still in the early stages of pro-machination, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. King Lotacon and his knights are taking steps to prevent it from reaching completion. Coister, Balehide is moving much quicker than we thought. This time he took over Nashira and the Cloud Vents at the same time.
You're quite right. The enemy is moving extremely fast.
Why are we here? Like, why have we literally bodily come here? Like, we've got a radio.
Sadal Sood. Gelderblame, what do you think of that?
It's a danger, sir. The Lord of Sadal Sood is away, and an Arivist named Rodolfo is after his title. Rodolfo is the sort you could easily wrap around your little finger were the deal sweet enough.
My guardian spirit seems to share that opinion. She's warning me not to leave Rodolfo to his own devices.
So say 20 years from now, Gelderblame will be very familiar with wrapping Rodolfo around his little finger.
You gotta have core forwards. It's the law.
He feels the same way, sir.
I see.
Hey, did they actually record a pronoun there?
Yes.
Make contact
Yes,
with this
Sagi's
Rodolfo.
spirit is a he.
Intervene if he seems likely to go along with pro.
I seem to recall that you had a choice of gender in the first game.
Understood.
I don't remember there being one in this
I'm
one.
counting on you.
I don't remember it ever actually coming
sir.
up before. Like, I don't know. It's weird,
What's
right?
wrong? You look like you have something to say. Go on, let's hear it.
Coister, you know something about the Umbras, don't you? Shanath and Valara call them afterlings. And there was something about Malpertio.
Oh boy, Sagi's working overtime on that brain cell.
Where did you hear this?
Anyway, the next, like, 5 or so minutes of the video are going to be the "Did you play Baten Kaitos 1?" part, so, please, get comfy and
You
enjoy.
mean when I called you in diadem? Me and my
I mean, it's very important that we go over all the details,
So you do know something
because as I think I was literally just explaining,
All right,
the
I'll tell
JRPG
you.
plots are really more about the
Suppose I
vibes than the
shouldn't have waited this
details.
long.
So when they want to bring up the details again, it kind of behooves them to remind you,
Do you know the
about
story
them.
of the ancient War of the Gods?
because otherwise you're not gonna know. You will have discarded all the details.
Some kind of legend.
That's the law.
It's not a legend. The War of the Gods really happened.
It's true. I learned about it in the School of Magic. Nearly 1,000 years ago, there was a war amongst the gods. I've heard a record of the war still exists.
That's right. The children of the earth who live in Dure recorded what happened. It began 1,000 years ago when the wicked god Malpertio rebelled against the other gods.
Now, all of that said,
Forth a host of
this is the kind of thing that, you know, games that do this kind of thing
Soon the other gods were
should account
annihilated,
for in some
and
way,
Earth
either
was
by
wrecked,
doing some kind of
world
save
fell
importing
into
nonsense,
chaos.
or just by giving the player a little survey. Saying like, hey,
The world would have been destroyed.
did you
had no
play
one
the thing?
intervened. But the children of the Earth's ancestors stepped in. They defeated the wicked god and sealed away his power. Incidentally, have
I
you
mean, there's
ever
a dialogue
wondered
choice
why
at the
the
very
world's
start of this.
continents
I
float
don't
in the
know
sky?
that it would skip this, but I highly doubt it.
I mean, I've never gotten the sense that the dialogue choices
I've
in
always
this game
assumed that's
are,
the way
like,
it's supposed to be.
that deep.
Me too.
A god's power keeps them aloft, namely the End Magnus in which Malpertio was sealed.
And Magnus.
Now, this one we know.
The children of the Earth's ancestors divided the wicked god's remains into 5 End Magnus and sealed one in each continent. Then they severed the continents from the tainted Earth and used Malpertio's power to set them aloft.
What does this have to do with those monsters we saw?
Only part of Malpertio's body was sealed in the End Magnus. What do you think became of the rest?
Was it discarded?
That's right. After the wicked god was torn asunder, those pieces possessing the most power were sealed in the End Magnus, and the rest were scattered throughout the world so that the fiend could not revive. The Umbras you've seen are the discarded pieces of Malpertio. To be exact, they're living beings with the pieces growing inside. You see, the pieces have no real power until they live inside another creature.
So then Baten and Celsica were both carriers of Malpertio's remains?
Correct. The pieces alone could never have revived, but by latching on to a host, their 1,000-year yearning for life was fulfilled. When the pieces awaken is determined by the carrier's emotional state. Feelings of loss, of sadness, negative emotions cause the wicked god to surface.
We are once again treading dangerously
Isn't there
close
any
to the
way to save the
metaphysics
carriers?
territory here.
I doubt it. If the carriers knew who they were, things would be different. But they don't. Not until they've already turned into monsters.
I feel like
That's all I
even
can
if you
tell you.
knew who
I
the
guess
carriers
that's
were, that doesn't actually do you much good. Like what are you
Then
gonna do?
back
You gonna
to the
walk up to
task at
Baten and just be like,
It's not
"Hey,
much, but I
bro,
prepared some new magnets.
you've got a piece
Take
of a
them with
dead god in you. You are never allowed to be sad."
I feel like round about this time there was another really, really good, really well produced, very well received game that came out around, you know, the 2006 era that had to do with somebody having a piece of a dark god trapped inside them, and they were under orders to like never cry because it would be really bad. I feel like that definitely happened. Does anyone else remember that?
Well, before we head out, let's take a moment and examine our mail, because, you know, it's important that we keep up with all of these wonderful character bits.
We must maintain inbox 0.
Exclusive, you say? How could we pass this up?
I love how even whatever nonsense magical interflying continental mail is going on here, still manages to have spam.
Damn, Super Goop and a travel brochure? We're really hit the jackpot on today's mailbag.
I feel like it's a bit late to be reading the travel guide for Diadem. Is that supposed to be the joke?
I mean, on the contrary, now that we've dealt with the situation there, it's a perfect time to travel there for leisure.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I would like to do for fun, is go back to that place. Yeah. Great. I'm sure something will definitely come of all that. And I'm sure we definitely won't have any bad feelings about it. Just a hunch.
Oh, well. That'll do it for this time, so we're off to Sadal Sud.
See you next time, folks.